Hello viewers, welcome to my channel No IT Free Knowledge for Everyone. Today in this video tutorial I am going to show you how you can publish servers, local resources from your internal networks to the external user through Firewall in a secure manner. Sometimes your user need to access some resources which are hosted within your network, but that server is not directly accessed on the internet. So by publishing those servers through the firewall, we can allow the users to access those resources. So first we understand what is the basically publishing a server through the firewall, and then we will configure it on our Sophos firewall. Okay, so let's start to first understand what is the publishing of servers. So let's first understand what is the publishing of any server through the firewall and why we use that. So let's take an example. For example, this is my corporate network, or you can say my corporate LAN. Now I have a firewall at the edge of my network. So mostly the firewall has two main interfaces. One is known as the WAN interface, another is known as the LAN interface. Now you must keep in your mind always that any network which is on the WAN side are always untrusted by firewall, and any network on the LAN side interface are always trustable. What does that mean is that when you initially configure your router, any traffic from the WAN side, any packet from the WAN side are not allowed to enter into your LAN site. However, any traffic from the LAN side to the WAN side are always allowed, or any traffic within the LAN are always allowed. So this is basically the initial setup. Don't be confused. So you can also allow the traffic from WAN to LAN by explicitly defining the rule which allow that traffic, and you can also customize that which type of traffic should be allowed from the LAN to WAN. But by initially all the traffic and every type of traffic are allowed from the LAN to WAN. Okay, now in the LAN side we always have a non-routable network or private subnet. For example, 10.0.0.0/8 or 172.16.0.0/16 or 192.168.1.0/24. So in this example I am taking this 192.60.1.0 subnet. Now as you know that this is the RFC 1918 IP addresses, and these all IP addresses are non-routable. What does that mean, non-routable? That means that no user who is on the WAN side or who is on the internet cannot be accessed these IP addresses. So, and because we have thousands of clients in our corporate environment, so it is not possible to give each and every device as a public or routable IP addresses. So that's why we always put the firewall. This is one of the reasons, apart from the security, we put firewall in our network, which do some manning and save our lot of public IP addresses. Now, publishing a web server means you allow an external user to access some internal resources from the WAN side or from any untrusted network in a secure manner, right? So, for example, in this example, we have a web server within our network which has a private IP address 192.168.1.20 / 24 is the subnet. Now, within my network, if any client or any user want to access this web server, for example, this web server is hosting a site which name is example.com, so he can easily access this. Why? Because since both are in the same network, both in the same LAN. For example, this user's client IP address is 192.168.1.30 and /24 is the subnet mask, and the server easily responds to this client also. But however, the problem comes when the same users wants to try to access this web server from the outer side, right? Because now this user is on the internet, he has some public IP address, for example 2.2.2. First, this is a routable IP address, and this is of the different subnet, and this is a non-routable IP address. So this is impossible for user to access this web server from the outside. Now you can work around to this problem by adding a additional NIC to your web server and put in a WAN IP address. And what it does is allow the users to bypass your firewall and allow to access the website your web server directly. However, in many corporate companies, they do not prefer this setup because this also vulnerable for security. So they prefer that the user's request comes to the firewall, so they can allow the users to securely access their website. So now these days, you know that firewall is just not a firewall. They work as a unified thread management. So they can analyze the traffic, incoming traffic. They can sense that the traffic is legitimate or not, or they can also filter the traffic on the basis of IPS policy. So many different things you can do with the firewall or UTM. So allowing the users to access this server through the firewall is known as a server publishing. Now there are two types of server publishing. One is known as a web and another is a non-web server publishing. So non-web server publishing is like you want to allow the user access MySQL server, RDP servers, or terminal server, or any other servers apart from the web service. Now, since there is some configuration difference between these, okay, so that's why they have categorized into these services into two categories: web and non-web publishing. Now this is also known as the port forwarding. Right? Now let's understand how this works and how we create a rule into the firewall. So let me first share all this. Okay, so what we actually do in firewall, we create a rule in which we define that any user who requests on the WAN interface of the firewall, for example, we take a WAN IP address as a 1.1.1.1 on port 80, should be redirected to my internal web server, which is 192.168.1.20 on port 80. Right? So in this case, what happened that the request comes from the users on the WAN interface. This is the 1.1.1.1 port 80. Then firewall, because the firewall is also a stateful firewall, it keeps the original source of the packet That's the 2.2.2. Okay, and then is rewrite the packet and send it to the destination server. Now the web server sees the request come from my LAN interface. For example, this is 192.168.1.1 and then responds back to this IP address on the port 80. Then your firewall again rewrite the packet. Let's change the source address of the packet from 192.168.1.20 1.1.1:80 and then send the request response back to the user. Okay, third, and this is the fourth step. So the end user never comes to know the original IP address of your WAN server, which is hosted within your network. He always sees that he sends the request to the public IP 1.1.1 and that and getting the response from that IP. Now, sometimes you can make it more harder for any hackers to guessing what port the request sending on the WAN interface of the firewall by just pressing this, by just customize this port IP to any other port. Basically, these ports are the standard port. So, for example, if I give here the port 8080, so my end user should know that if he want to access the web server, he need to send the request to IP address 1.1.1.1 colon port 8080. Now, when that request is received by the firewall, what it do is send that packet to the destination 192.168.1.20 server by replacing this port 80 with port 8080 with port 80. So this is why it is also known as a port forwarding. So now it's forward the traffic from the port 8080 to port 80 and then 80 to port 8080. So this is the basic understanding of how the publishing of server done by the firewall. I hope you understand this. So let's try to configure this into the Sophos firewall. Okay, so let's do it. Okay, what I'm gonna do now, that I have a Windows 7 machine on my LAN side of firewall. So I want to allow my users to access that machine from the external network or from the internet, or you can take it as a from their home. Now, so what I'm going to do that I am going to publish that Windows 7 machines through my firewall. This is one of the good example of non-web publishing. Okay, so what we need to do that? So we need to have two things. First, we need to making sure that the remote access should be enabled on my client machine. So just check that this is my client machine. Go to the property, click on advanced system settings, and go to the remote tab, and here you can see I have already enabled that remote access. Okay, so just make sure this option is ticked, then close it. The second thing, we must know that what is my client IP address. So just click on this star and then open a command prompt, type cmd and then type the IP config all. IP config all, that will show your IP address. So I'll just scroll up and here it is my client IP 10.1.8.62. Okay, now we have this information in our hand. Now go to the Sophos firewall admin console. Now put your username, my name is admin, and then password, whatever password you have. Now go to the navigation pane and then choose the option host and services. On the IP host tab, we need to add a new IP host. Just give it a name. It should be a meaningful name like Windows 7 machine. Then choose the IP family. Mine is IP version 4. Then the type is the IP. You can give the network, IP range, IP list, whatever you want. So I just want to publish only single server. So I give it a single IP and then click on the save. Once this is done, then you need to go to the firewall on the navigation pane and then click on add firewall role, business application role. Here from the application template, you need to select DNAT, full NAT or load balancing. Then give this a meaningful name like Access Windows 7 machine, and then give some description. For example, this will allow external users to access Windows 7 machine host inside local network of organization. Okay, then you can position the rule top or bottom. I choose top default. Then the source zone. The source zone is a WAN. Obviously, this is from the request comes from the external users. So I have to choose here WAN. Then allow client network. So here you just need to click add new item and then choose any, because I'm not, I don't know that which IP address my external user have, so I need to allow any here. Then go to the destination host, making sure you choose here your external interface or WAN interface of your firewall. In my case, that's a 10.5.0.30 is the IP. Then what type of forward you want? I choose port, and then the service port forwarding. What port you want? 33892, and there is another text box. This is basically you can give a port range. For example, port 80 to port 90, something like that. Then you have to choose protocol. In my case, this is a TCP protocol. Then forward it to. Here you have to select your Windows machine IP host, which we have created early, and the port type is, and the map port type is port, and the map port is 3389. Now here you can see one other option is that change destination port. What is for that? Sometimes your services run on a different port. It's not necessary that it's run on a standard port like 3389. So in that case, you can define a custom port here, for example 880, and that port also map with the custom port on your internal server. Or you can also do that, you can define as a custom port in service port and then change destination port in a standard port or any other port. Okay, so for example, you can also define it as if any request come on port 880, that should be forwarded to port 3389, right? So now I am revert back that setting and choose the default one, 3389. Okay, then protected zone. My protected zone is obviously LAN. Then the advanced setting, here what I was talking previously, that through the firewall you can define many different other security parameters like institution prevention, traffic shaping, then routing. Okay, so these are only can be possible in the firewall or UDM. Now I'm just click here, create reflexive rule. Now what is this reflexive rule? Basically it's create a, now when we create a publish rule, it's create a rule from LAN to WAN. So reflexive rule create a this create a rule from WAN to LAN. Now reflexive will create a LAN to WAN. That means it allow a traffic from LAN to WAN also. Then click on log firewall traffic. That will log any traffic which pass or blocked by this rule, showing a log. So okay, we have done it. We create the rule. This is our rule name. Source is the WAN. Destination is the LAN. And what we are accessing and what are the action is forwarding. Now just try this. Open MSTSC. So remote access dialog box. remote connection, sorry, remote desktop connection box. Now just type, here you need to type your WAN interface of Firewall. Very important. Okay. Then click connect. Connect. It will prompt you for the username and password. Select the I choose a different username. Put in a username like administrator or whatever you have on your system, and then password. And then click OK. Yes. And voila, here it is. We have successfully accessed our internal Windows machine from the internet or from the external network. So now if you go to the log viewer on the top right corner and then select Firewall log, there you see that is log, the events for the traffic. Where you see the firewall rule, import, output, the source IP, this is my system IP address, and the destination was my WAN IP address of firewall on the port 3389. So the rule type is business, right? So this is how we do the publishing in Sophos Firewall. This is very simple and very straightforward. I hope you enjoy this video tutorial. Okay. And if you go to the business application rule, you can see there are many application chapters which are predefined. So some are like external Outlook Anywhere, Exchange Server, Microsoft Link, and then Microsoft Desktop Remote. Okay, then web server protections, that basically web publishing server. This comes with a lot of additional settings already pre-configured, and you can customize your server also. So you can drill down all the settings by yourself and you can understand what these all are. But in future video, I will try to cover all of this also. Okay. So like the protection for the Microsoft RDP, right? Like one other web server protections, DNAT. So this basically template is used to create your own custom rules for non-web publishing server or web publishing servers. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and if you have any query, please write into the comment section. Please do subscribe to my channel, be tuned, and thank you for watching this video. Have a nice day.